We haven't been sleeping since the month of July, but we're finally at the moment. We're here at Gillette Stadium, the site of 6 MIAA Super Bowls to be played on Saturday, 6 of 19 statewide to be played on Saturday. But of course, once again, we're bringing you our Thursday preview for the last time this season from Gillette, as I mentioned. As always, I'm Scott Barboza, joined by my compadre, my co-editor, my co-everything, Brendan Hall. Brendan, what's going on?
This is our big holiday of the year, right? You know, Saturday, Gillette Stadium. We're here from sun up to sundown. It's a crazy day, but at the end, boy, you just have a lot of fun here every year. You always see something unique here. We talk about Leominster last year and that huge caravan they brought. They had guys in the 200 seats. You think of Jared Taylor's performance with Mashpee last year against Cardinal Spellman. You think back to the first year of Super Bowls here at Gillette and the epic overtime battle between Everett and Dartmouth. Isaac Johnson versus Jordan Todman. It seems like neither one was going to get touched that night. Always some memories here every year, and I look forward to seeing some unique ones here this year.
As always, this segment is brought to you by our friends at the Massachusetts Army National Guard. To find out how you can go to college tuition free, go to nationalguard.com. We like to thank them for their support all season long here. But we got a lot to get to here, Brendan. So let's start in Western Mass. And here we're going to have South Hadley and Wacona here at Gillette Stadium. But again, the big one again. And going to be played at Westfield State, Springfield Central, Longmeadow. We saw it here last year. Alex Rotzko moves on to Maine, having a lot of success, by the way, up there as well at Marshwood. But the Lancers really haven't missed a beat. And again, they get the Eagles.
Yeah, and the key there for Longmeadow in the first matchup, Longmeadow really controlled the ball. They put together 2 monster drives to start the game. They go up 14-0, but Springfield Central battled all the way back, and they won that game in the last couple seconds. Two differences there. One, Cody Williams, the quarterback for Central, was serving a suspension, and his cousin Juwan Williams was playing quarterback, and they were more run-oriented, although he had a very nice touchdown pass to Tahano Smith in the back of the end zone to win it. So Cody will be back this time around. The other thing, too, is we got 10-minute quarters here. That tends to favor run-heavy teams like Longmeadow. It's the same thing they've been running since the start of the Rotzko era. The wing T and hasn't changed a bit. They got 2 big guys up front there, Luke Calabrese, Rob McClure, the quarterback Frankie Elder we mentioned, Austin Sierra, the fullback. Such a big body there. Really keeps things honest for them. So I'm really interested to see how things change in the second time around with Cody Williams facing Longmeadow.
In Central Mass, we also have the Division II teams making their debut here at Gillette. Neshoba and Shepherd Hill. I think, until back to last year, Shepherd Hill, that giant upset over Auburn, ending their win streak here. They've been playing some really fine football the last 2 years here. Get back to the Super Bowls here. And then Neshoba, we're going to talk to Zach Human just a little bit here, our all-everything linebacker, really.
Yeah, Shepherd Hill provides the same scheme that Holy Name ran against Neshoba on Tuesday night, that double wing. We mentioned about 10-minute quarters on the possession and the run heavy. That feeds right into what Shepherd Hill tries to do. However, this Neshoba defense swarms. Been one of the top scoring defenses in the state from day one. You look at Zach Hume, a Division I prospect at linebacker. We saw him. He's a good-looking kid. We were talking to Ken Tucker, and he's telling us you should have seen some of the hits he laid on Tuesday night. This kid's a ball player.
And we caught up with Zach Hume just moments ago here on the field at Gillette.
Zach, just first of all, here at Gillette Stadium, I don't know if you've ever been here before. Just what's it like seeing this place?
I mean, I've been here, but I've never been down on the field. It's huge. I never expected it to be this big. I'm awestruck.
Talk about obviously you guys have had a lot of hype going into the season. You've for the most part fulfilled it. You're here on Saturday, so obviously success for you guys. Going into the Super Bowl, but just the defense. It's had a lot of hype behind it. You guys have lived up to it for the most part. What's been the key?
I mean, we just play fast. We're physical. We got some good athletes on the defense. We just love to play. We take pride in the defense.
Running attack. It's been a number of guys. So we talk about John Ojukwu, but really a number of people. What leads to that balance on offense?
We just got a lot of kids. We have a lot of depth at running back. We got a lot of them. They're all real good athletes. They all run real hard. I mean, Eli Williams, Andrew Cross, Frank Chiodo filling a fullback. We got some good running backs.
25 wins in a row, looking for 26 here. You've seen what happens some of the other teams at long win streaks here. Duxbury going down after 37 wins on Tuesday night. What keeps you guys focused, motivated? How do you guys stay fresh?
We just can't get complacent. We try to take it one game at a time. We got one left, so we're just, trying to get ready for it.
Tell me about the Shepherd Hill team, a double wing. Obviously, you faced double wing on Tuesday night with Holy Name. And what are the things you're looking to accomplish?
We're just trying to. We know they're real physical and they're real big, but we played them last year. They got a lot of kids come back. We know they're tough kids, and we just got to be ready for them.
Thanks very much, Zach. We'll see you on Saturday, but looking again at the Division I matchup, another rematch we should get to here. St. John Shrewsbury, Leominster, I think really one of the highlights last year here at Gillette Stadium, that Leominster crowd coming out in droves and very boisterous, a great crowd there. But once again, it's Blue Devils and Pioneers. Who you got?
Yeah, I told you that I wouldn't be surprised by anything that happened on Tuesday night, but honestly, based on the preseason expectations, it played out exactly how we thought it would. A rematch of Leominster St. John's. Leominster, you covered that first game. 4 seconds left. Neil O'Connor gets that touchdown pass. One of the better finishes we've seen all year. I really think Leominster has had their number since Dave Palazzi took over. I don't expect much to change. As good as St. John's has been on offense, Andrew Smiley, record-setting year by Central Mass standards. I just can't get over the run defense. And really, they've been sputtering the last couple games, going back to St. Peter Marion and going to Wachusett on Tuesday night. I expect Leominster to win this one.
Let's take a look at Division 4A, a game that will be played here at Gillette. We got a city battle here with Boston Cathedral and Madison Park going at it. We talked to Dwayne Sigsbury. We'll get to him in just a moment here. But, you think back to Cathedral and the whole Brandon Owens situation last year and how that unfolded for them down the stretch. An unfortunate situation for them, but getting to see them back here right at it again.
Yeah, and seeing Matt Owens, it worked out for him because he got to throw the first pitch at Fenway Park. So I can't think they have too much to be ashamed of there, even though they lost that game. But you look at Madison Park, and I got a good look at these guys on Tuesday night, and there's not a lot of depth there, as with a lot of city schools. I think that's the issue. But David Stewart and Calvin Jones coming off the edges there. David Stewart, a guy we saw a lot in basketball season last year from Madison Park. He's 6'4". He plays the swing positions. He's a very athletic kid. Against BP, he basically won the game. He took the kickoff 72 yards to the house. So they have some athletes there. I know depth is kind of an issue, but they have the horses to go. However, this Cathedral team, Kadeem Edge, and we've talked about him being one of the more underrated wide receivers in the state. He's got 15 touchdowns. There's a bunch of guys on defense that really do a lot. We talk about Mohamed Brima, for instance. I think they might have the edge here, but Madison Park's got some horses too.
Talk about basketball too, man. Equally adept coaching both basketball and football. Dwayne Sigsbury, we caught up with him here.
All right, Dwayne, you're here at Gillette Stadium on Saturday. Obviously, people will be talking about the way things ended last year, the celebration penalty, and all the national outcry that got. But just what is this past year been like since that event?
That event happened last year, and we learned from it, and we moved on. That following Monday, after that Super Bowl game, we had 33 guys in the weight room getting ready for this year, and because of their efforts in the weight room and off-season conditioning, we'll put ourselves in a position to win a Super Bowl this year.
Since you've taken over Cathedral, you guys are, if I'm not mistaken, 20-3, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it's I think it's 20-3, yeah, something like that, yeah.
But I think the real key has been you get a number of athletes, basketball kids, all sorts of athletes from different backgrounds, and putting them in space and kind of freewheeling a little bit. Talk about just how you came up with that game plan, why you thought that was the best way to exploit these guys.
We have a lot of speed, and speed kills, especially at the high school level. But we're lucky we have size and speed. Yeah. And we have a lot of guys that they're like thoroughbreds. That they just absolutely know how to play the game, and they're physical, and they use their high football IQs to not only being physically great, they're football smart. So that helps us a lot.
Obviously, length can do a lot at the high school level, and Kadeem Edge, 6'4" of him, 12 receiving touchdowns. What a factor he's been for you guys on offense.
Yeah, Kadeem is, and there's no disrespect to anybody else. He's the best receiver in the state of Massachusetts, and our offense is, we like to run the ball first, but Kadeem has caught 15 touchdown passes this year, and there could have been a lot more.
Yeah. And defensively, we talk about Mohamed, but a number of guys on defense making plays.
Yes, Mohamed was the co-MVP of our conference this year. And Derek Welcome was the defensive lineman of the year, and our middle linebacker Sean Ladd was the defensive MVP of the league. And Sage Philippe, this is no disrespect to Sean, was probably the best linebacker in the state before he broke his forearm and radius and ulnar in the first half of the first game. So, we're lucky to have these 5 young men, and we have 3 other seniors that have been tremendous leaders for our football team, and we have a great group of kids.
You look at Madison Park, and depth is an issue, but they run a pretty old school offense there, the split back. But they have 2 terrific defensive ends off the edge. You talk with the length, David Stewart, Calvin Jones, etc. What are the I guess 3 keys against Madison Park?
Against Madison Park, you have to stop the run because they are big, they're physical, and they move the ball well on offense. They have skill like us. They have team speed, and I think it's just going to come down to who executes better on Saturday.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Let's take it around to Division 4 here in Eastern Mass. St. Mary's of Lynn coming off a very impressive performance on Tuesday night. And Abington as well, very opportunistic with the defense there. Can we expect more of the same from the Green Wave?
Yeah, I think it's going to be something's going to give here because St. Mary's defense has been very good for that division, just as much as Abington has. Abington might have a few more weapons there. Brandon Colley, Pat Dwyer, Babilla Fonkum, etc. However, we got another Collier in the backfield for St. Mary's.
It doesn't matter what the first name
those
is,
guys
really.
are productive. Jordan Collier gonna end up with a great career when he's done at St. Mary's.
Taking a look at Division 3A, a game that will be here. We got the Linfield Pioneers coming out of that CAL NEC. They've been playing for their lives for 2 weeks to get here. And then our friends at Bishop Feehan, who we understand, talking to them a little bit earlier here today, we've been the motivation a little bit behind their run. It's kind of interesting.
Like our boss said, the site wasn't going to take off until it becomes the high school kids' site. So, hey, glad to be in motivation, I guess. I don't know.
We talk about Feehan. You got to see the Somerset game down there a couple weeks back. They come in and absolutely roll over Dighton Rehoboth on Tuesday night. One of the more impressive stat lines outside of that Mountain Greylock game there. Is this, we talked to Kurt Smith a little bit. It seems like this team is just kind of peaking in the right direction here.
Absolutely. It's really underrated, this defense, and it's not a team that really stands out of you. It's not like the show where you got a big guy like Zach Hume in the middle there. I don't want to call it a no-name defense because everybody knows their names down there, but these guys have a lot of athleticism. They're really committed to this gap control scheme that Kurt Smith wants to run. But then you look at the other side and the wing T, and they're very effective with it. You talk about Isaiah Douglas, Matt Allen, running off tackle, but Matt Gleavis up the middle with that midline there. That's just as crucial. And put that all together, it's a lot of misdirection, but it's also been overpowering teams the last month too.
And just a moment ago, Brennan caught up with senior captain Zack Forget of the Shamrocks.
All right, Zach, Tuesday night, 49-7 with Dighton Rehoboth. I don't think many people saw that score coming, but just what happened? How did that unravel?
Our team just executed real well. We played one of the better games we've played all year, and we're peaking at the right time during the season, and everything just came together last Tuesday night.
I don't know if you were here the last time Feehan was in a Super Bowl. I think it was 3 years ago. But this is the 8th time since 2000 that you guys are in a Super Bowl. What is the key to that consistency?
There's a lot of tradition at Feehan. A lot of coaching's been the same. Coach Oboy definitely on the line. It's a legacy. It's an atmosphere at Feehan, the football team, and it just clicks together.
Kurt Smith comes in here, and they got the wing T running the last couple of years. Very multi-dimensional, a lot of different backs there. We mentioned about Matt Allen, Isaiah Douglas. Just what makes these guys click?
It's hard to say exactly. There's a lot of camaraderie on the team. Everybody likes each other, works together well, and Coach Smith knows what he's doing. He'll be at Feehan a lot of late nights watching film and stuff, and sometimes I get to school in the morning. He's already there watching film, so he does a lot of research.
Defensively, not the biggest unit, but athleticism and a little bit of grit, a little bit of elbow grease there. What is the identity of this defense?
Our defense is definitely one of the things I'm more proud of. We do let up, I think, 6.5 points per game. We have mostly seniors, I think 10 out of 11, and all of us played last year. So we do have we're veterans, we have a little experience. run basically a gap control defense. Everybody trusts everybody else to do their job, and it works out.
What's your 3 keys of victory for Saturday?
Defense, definitely defense. Just maintaining our gaps. They run a lot of option stuff, so we just have to be patient and do our job. Probably open up the pass game a little bit more than we've had in the past. We've been able to just run down teams, but we'll probably have to open up a little bit and just get the W.
Thanks very much, Zach. We take a look at Division III real quickly here. We've got Wayland, the DCL small champions again, and once again, the story of the year keeps rolling. Those Sharon Eagles, as many times as we and everybody else in the state pick against them, they just keep rolling.
Yeah, I think, not to show our hand here, but I think Dave Morse kind of solidified his case as the coach
Going to
of
go
the year.
out on a limb.
Going to go on a limb
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I mean, Sharon High School is going to a Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the craziest stories going on this year. Maybe the Mayans were right. I don't know.
We only got a couple weeks left.
We only got a couple
apparently.
weeks left,
Yeah.
apparently. No, really, it's really a statement about their commitment to Morse's system and a dedication in the weight room. I understand they've improved their facilities there. Obviously Sean Asens get a lot of the attention there. 1,700 rushing yards or something like that effect. But the guy I really like is Brad Schiff. He's not big. He might be about 5'7". He might be about 160 pounds. I don't know. But the guy is a downhill linebacker, explodes to the gaps, gets 10, 12 solo tackles a game. He's really the heart and soul of that defense. Hockomock Defensive Player of the Year in that league. That says a lot, considering the talent you got at King Philip, Mansfield, North Attleboro, etc. Win or lose, that is the story of the year there in Sharon, what Dave Morse has done.
After talking some defense, we're going to talk some offense here in Division 2A with Beverly. Again, that undaunted running attack coming from all angles there in Natick. Obviously, with things that unfolded Tuesday night there, Natick will be playing here today. There was no appeal filed by Plymouth South, so that's a non-factor here. We get to see the Red Hawks here against Beverly. Can either of these teams' defenses really stop the other? I think that's the big question here.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I'm not sure if the ball mattered. I know they obviously like the ball; it's a little bit of a grip, but this has been one of the best passing offenses in the state all year, and you have the numbers to prove it. Torrey Flutie, over 3,500 all-purpose yards, close to 40 touchdowns. Brian Dunlap, 33 touchdowns now since the beginning of his freshman year. One of the best receivers to come through this state in a while. And now you got in the last month Alex Hilger and Robinson coming on the last month has really opened up this offense. And I understand Beverly's got a very good running attack and Flaherty, Kenny Pierce, Dama Bate, etc. The question remains with run-heavy teams like Plymouth South. I ask the same question: do they have the guys to defend this passing attack? Can they contain these guys? And that's the question I'm still going to have going into this game on Saturday. Yeah,
let's take a look at Division II. Again, one of the really great upsets. I think somebody here called it. Oh, wait, it was both of us, actually. Mansfield.
You're really taking this personally, aren't you?
Hey, I got to give credit to the Hornets, though. They actually gave us credit for once in taking the unpopular pick there, ending Duxbury's, again, state best 37-game winning streak.
I still think they got a dartboard with your head on it.
Well, we'll find evidence of that at some point. But again, ending Duxbury's 37-game winning streak, tremendous accomplishment by them. But Mansfield gets here, and oh, by the way, we get a matchup of, quite frankly, you mentioned that Everett-Dartmouth game that started off here. But one of the greatest games to be played here was that Reading-Mansfield epic battle in that comeback by the Hornets.
That was actually my debut in the booth with Zolak and Tangway, too.
That's right.
A historic game by all measures. This is a different Reading team, clearly, from what was last year. Last year, they lose to Tewksbury, and people were like, wow, didn't see that coming. They rolled Tewksbury on Tuesday night. We've mentioned before about Drew Belcher and what a difficult matchup he is when he gets going, when he gets that read option going. We talked about Valente, the running back. I think the key matchup will be, Matt Comerford, the lineman for Reading, and how he controls the line of scrimmage. I think if they win the line of scrimmage, again, 10-minute quarters, time of possession is crucial. How do you keep it going? With the running game, and Reading has had a strong power-based read option game going. They can control the clock here. However, Mansfield, Brendan Hill, a 6'5" target, and he's been performing well the last month as Mansfield, as we've said, fighting for their life in this Hawk and Mock League to get the berth. How do you cover some of those targets? And then coming underneath with those two running backs, it could be a difficult matchup both ways. I think we could see high scoring, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a low scoring affair either. It could go either way.
Kevin Mackey with a huge game on Tuesday night, I thought, for them. One of the real great performances that night. Let's get to Division I first before we get to the showcase, if you will, here at Gillette Stadium. But St. John's Prep Brockton, obviously, we've talked about this. What could have been if Augie Roberts didn't get injured in these teams' first meeting this year. That was a very competitive game and probably would have been a 4-quarter game. Augie goes out. Brockton struggles a little bit in the middle. They close out the big three. They have a very impressive performance the other night against Weymouth. So does St. John's Prep. They end up playing for the Division I title.
Yeah, Brockton is playing its best football right now. The game against Tuesday night, 432 yards rushing, something like 8-9 yards a carry. Just every time they touched the ball, it was almost a first down. Most dominant I've seen them all year. They're really clicking at the right time. This is a new offense, and I don't think people realize that. Once the triple option takes a little bit to get used to. I think it's weird, positioning, weird angles you're taking. It's not something you're used to. Brockton had run multiple for so many years, and then won Super Bowl after Super Bowl with it. They had, but now that they've fully committed to this, now they got everything down. They're really well-oiled right now. And I think they're a different team from what they saw with St. John's Prep. Obviously, we got a healthy Augie Roberts for this one too. That's a big factor. But you look at the running backs. They got Micah Morrell, Moise Edouard, Ricardo Calixte, who surprised me with some, he had some shake and bake on that touchdown run there. I didn't see that coming maybe, but. Speed is the other thing too. We meant not just with the backs, but with the linemen. Joe Previty making himself into all-state contention here with the way he's been playing, leading that line. And on defense, we start with Morrell at safety, but another guy, Flaherty at linebacker. There's a lot of different guys to go to. However, how do they stop this St. John's running attack? Two of the best running backs in the state. Jonathan Thomas, and then Alex Moore, who's just named Gatorade Player of the Year this morning. How do you stop that? How do you keep that in control? It should be an interesting matchup. I'm not sure which way I'm going on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the harder games, I think, to predict all night. And hey, could be a 7-6, one of those old classic Jim O'Leary Super Bowl team slugfest. I'd look for that and a lot of ball control there. But let's wrap it up with the Division 1A game, which will be played here at Gillette at 1:30. We're going to get into both sides here a little bit. So let's start with the reigning champions, the Everett Crimson Tide. They come in here. Obviously, Barnstable comes into their turf earlier this year in a bad weather game, escapes with the win. Barnstable ends the season as number 1. Everett, plenty of play to play for here on Saturday, outside of just a Super Bowl. The revenge factor, all that good stuff coming in. We're going to talk to John Montelus in just a moment over here. But let's talk again. This has been a concurrent theme all season with this Everett team. What offense are we going to see? Who's going to be the guy? We know what we're getting defensively. But again, do we see any adjustments from what they brought with Barnstable in that first matchup when, that Barnstable defense, they were our player of the week that week. They really brought it.
I think the key is going to be the running game with Kenny Collage. It appears that he's finally healthy. He's been kind of battling injuries all year. The question I have about this Everett team, regardless of what kind of offense they bring out, because we know at this point it's just an amoeba. We call it the Spartacus offense. Everybody's the quarterback, it seems, at some point in the year. Complacency, I think it's an issue for both teams. Okay, we look at Everett's schedule. The last time they really played a competitive game, let's be honest, October 20th against BC High. The GBL did not provide them much resistance, I guess, to be nice. Thanksgiving, Cambridge dropped them, so they have no Thanksgiving opponent. Masconomet, I'll give them benefit of the doubt, but it's just not in the same league as Everett. And you wonder if complacency is settled in, even though it looks like they're pretty sharp right now. They seem very confident, as you'll see in a second. But we were very confident. I think that was a wake-up call for them. And I think that they're ready to get back in this thing and get what they feel is rightfully theirs. We're going for a third Super Bowl title here. I think the key, though, will be the running game. I think having Kenny Collage back gives them an extra element, in addition to Jalen Felix and Jakari Washington.
Seemed like a very focused group, as you mentioned before, and one of the better interviews I think that's ever been done in ESPNBoston.com history, coming in right up with the Notre Dame-bound John Montelus, a very focused young man.
All right, John, you're here Saturday for the second time in 3 years at Gillette Stadium, but the game everyone's talking about, you guys versus Barnstable in a rematch. What was it like after losing earlier in the season? What did that feel like?
It was pretty terrible to me. I don't get sad because I know we're gonna get them back. But a loss is a loss. But we're gonna come back stronger. We had a couple guys hurt and everything, but we're gonna bring the heat this time. Like I said, the heat.
Some people are wondering if you had your GPL schedule, you didn't have a Thanksgiving opponent, and Masconomet maybe gave you a little bit of trouble, but you ran away with it in the end. How do you guys prevent the complacency from sinking in?
I don't think Masco gave us a little challenge because they scored a touchdown with our third defense, so that wasn't really that. It wasn't a challenge like that, Basically, what I'm saying, we're getting ready for Barnstable, and we're gonna bring the heat, and we're just trying to get the W and walk out and see who's really the champion. Like I said, we had a couple guys hurt, and we're back 100%, and we're gonna get this. We're gonna catch this W.
A lot of the stuff that they do on defense predicated on speed, the angles they take. What are the most important things you got to take care of as a tackle against this Barnstable D?
Basically we gotta get a run block a little stronger, but we've been working on that in practice and everything. So, we're looking pretty good right now, and we're gonna catch this W.
All right, 3 keys to victory, John.
3 keys, basically kick their butts and kick their butts. Like I said, we're going to catch this W.
Thanks very much, John. Now let's shift and take a look at this Barnstable Red Raider team. Obviously, again, as we mentioned, ever since that win at Everett, taking on the #1 spot in our poll down the stretch, getting through a very tough game with Bridgewater Raynham. We thought that game against Lincoln Sudbury would be a little bit of a stumbling block for them, perhaps, after seeing what happened last year. They aced that test, really, and come rolling here into Gillette again.
Yeah, and we mentioned about this offense being a Ferrari offense. And I think the whole key, as much as we get publicity for Nick Peabody, for Dylan Morris, for Hayden Murphy, Tadaro France seems like every time they're in a rut, he does something to kind of get him out of that spurt.
A lot of people feel he's really the team MVP there.
Absolutely. Really, really good underneath route runner.
Yeah.
Very elusive, slippery in the open field. And on defense, he plays some good ball, too. He's kind of bailed them out when they're running into trouble. You saw games against, New Bedford, Bill Ricka, teams that on paper that shouldn't have really given him a game. Gave him a game. It was Tadaro France in the end giving them the edge to kind of win that one out. I still feel, it's some of the same questions as far as complacency you can make with Barnstable. I even know Lincoln Sudbury win. You look at the Bill Ricka game, and that was a really close one. However, I think they've rebounded a little bit. They're focused. They know what to do. They know they're in for a freaking battle here, and there's going to be a lot of people here watching them. I think they're fired up.
Talked to Coach Chris Whitten and was really struck by, he said everybody in town is absolutely jacked and pumped about this game, getting a lot of high fives and daps at breakfast this morning. But talked to Tom Grimmer, one of the more colorful guys that you'll find anywhere in Massachusetts high school football. Another, I really think, priceless interview coming your way here with one of the captains of the Red Raiders.
All right, Tom. I'm told that it's a fevered pitch right now in Hyannis, Centerville, all the little villages. Everyone's really might be a big crowd here for you guys on Saturday. What's the pitch been like around town this week?
I mean, it's been incredible. I'm sure if you ask Brian Hardy, who doesn't get out of his house much, he'll tell you Facebook notifications have been off the wall. But I mean, it's been great. I mean, everybody's really excited. We got a free meal the other day. Just everyone around town is really excited. It's a good time to be living in Hyannis.
Obviously, everyone is talking about revenge on Everett's mind, and that was such an epic game for your guys when you played them earlier this season in the rainy conditions. What do you expect this time around?
It's going to be a tightly contested game again. I mean, I think you'll see much of the same. I mean, obviously the conditions won't be quite as hellacious as they were then, but it'll be tightly contested. It'll be a hard-fought game, and we'll see what happens.
couple weeks ago, there were questions about whether you guys had let off the gas pedal a little bit, whether complacency had set in. Some people looked at that Bill Ricca game and what a back and forth contest that was, and maybe complacency had settled in. But do you guys feel like the last couple of weeks you've kind of kicked it up again?
Yeah, I mean, Coach told us as soon as we beat Everett, the biggest threat to any team is complacency, and we let it set in a little bit. As you know, it's hard to fight. But I think after Bill Ricca, we started to understand it's like, okay, if we don't get everything together right now, somebody's going to come after us, just like we came after Everett. Because when you're on top, there's always somebody working harder to prepare to take you down. So we've kicked it into gear definitely a little bit. I think we showed that against Lincoln Sudbury, and I think we're going to bring that right here to Gillette this Saturday.
People talk about this offense, kind of a Ferrari there between Mick Peabody, Dylan Morris, Tadaro France, Hayden Murphy, et cetera, et cetera. But the defense, a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed, a lot of cranial guys that know exactly what angles to take. What is the calling card, the identity of this defense?
Technique, definitely technique. Our defensive line coach, Mike Dwyer, who played with the Dallas Cowboys back in the 80s, big dude. It's not hard to miss him there on the sidelines, but just the technique that I think that he's been able to teach our D-line this year, because they're not exactly the largest D-line in the world. What he says is it doesn't matter how big you are, how strong you are, as long as you do and you use the right technique, it will be easy for you. And believe me, the difference between hitting our D-line last year and trying to block them to this year, it's quite the difference, you know.
And the one thing people comment about is how hard you guys hit. Is there something special? Like what do you think leads to people saying that?
Something in the water, you know. I don't know. We understand being a team on Cape Cod, you're not going to get a lot of respect. As you said before, we were talking about your scarf, the whole Vineyard Vines thing. You're not going to get a lot of respect being a team from Cape Cod, so we understand that we need to come out and make teams respect us. And I think that's a mindset we go into every single game with. That's a mindset we've been training with for 4 years. We prepare ourselves to make sure that the person in front of us did not prepare themselves as well as we did, and so I think that's where it comes from.
Finally, 3 keys of victory.
Touchdowns, not letting them score, and just coming out fired up, starting off right away, you know.
And we're in the home stretch here, folks. It's been a tremendous year, I got to tell you. It's always a pleasure, but each year, new storylines, new, things come our way that we can't anticipate, and that's really what makes our job so fun. So, Brennan, we got a lot to get to on Saturday here, but if we could tie a bow a little bit on this season and some of the, couple things that you'll take away from this year and looking ahead into Saturday.
Yeah, I think we mentioned about Alex Moore, the just announced Gatorade Player of the Year this morning. Yep. One of the finals for our Mr. Football Award, which will be announced on Monday, so look for that. Yep. But I mentioned this yesterday about his defense on Cam Farnham and how that was kind of a key point. This is a kid that I don't think a lot of people expected to have as big of a year he has, and I don't think there's any argument against him being the best two-way player in the state, frankly, at this point. We've seen Barnstable and as Grimmer just talked about, maybe Cape Cod kids get overlooked. You think of the National Seashore, you think of beaches, you think of all this, drinks a little straw hats in them, I don't know. But you ask anybody, and that's one of the hardest hitting teams that you'll face, and really lived up to expectations. We had them at number 5 to start the season.
Exactly.
Beating Everett and remaining number 1 on our statewide poll for 7-8 weeks now. And there was a lot of surprises too. I think you look at maybe Bishop Feehan, the way that they rolled Dighton Rehoboth. You look at maybe a Cathedral or a Madison Park, and maybe Cathedral drops off a little bit after the way that everything ended. But Dwayne's got them rolling again. They're here at Gillette. Really just full of surprises, but also full of kind of some vengeance here. We talk about Brockton. Okay, and I think we all wrote them off. A lot of people in the media wrote them off after the way things ended last year, and I guess I'm holding them back. I don't know. No,
not anymore.
Not anymore. They've really outlived every expectation anybody's had for them. I think win or lose, Brockton is back for the near future.
Of course, we'll have you covered throughout the state on all of Saturday. Super Bowls will be here, hold up all day long at Gillette, going slowly crazy until the end of the night there. We'll again have our good friends John Sarianidis from Norwood High School and Steve Dembowski from Swampscott High School helping us break down all the action here. We'll have the live blog going, so of course chime in on that throughout the day and keep us even keeled. And of course, we'll also have a live streaming link on the website for all the games to be broadcast here at Gillette. And it's just going to be a fun day. It's a long day, but it's a great send-off, I think, every year to the football season. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
So until then, we pledge to you there will be no sleep till Gillette. We're here, but we're not there quite yet. And maybe, just maybe, on Sunday, we might get a little shut-eye. But for now, I'm Scott Barboza for Brennan Hall, as always on the ESPNBoston.com High Schools preview, once again brought to you by the Massachusetts Army National Guard. Until next time, we'll see you.